Hey, Katie.
Hey, Grant, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good to hear. Hey, Boyan.
Hi, team. How's it going?
It's going well. How about yourself?
All good. I had a wedding yesterday, so it was pretty long that night, I would say.
You had a what?
A wedding, like a friend
Oh, a
of mine.
wedding. Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
she got married, so it was pretty funny to participate. What about you
Yeah, I'm
guys?
sure.
How was weekend?
It was good. Let's see. I actually met up with a GitLab team member, friend of mine, Hannah Suter, who's another PM on our team, and we walked around the Boulder Fall Festival. So I did that, and then we went down to Manitou Springs, Colorado, and just checked out. It's like a little like mountain town near Pikes Peak and near Colorado Springs, which is I don't know, kind of a destination, just something to do. Just wanted to go check it out. So yeah, it's pretty good, Tom.
Nice. Welcome, Andy.
Hello.
Andy.
Hey.
How's your new role treating you, Katie?
It's going well,
in?
thank you. Yeah, definitely getting settled in. Lots to do, but yeah, it's going well.
Great. Well, I think we have critical mass. It might be a little bit lighter today. I know we have a few out in I don't know, at least in the Europe area with the Queen. So Arturo's out. So yeah, maybe we can go ahead and get started, and if anyone else jumps in, we can catch up. All right, so I'll start on the points. Arturo brought a couple, and I'll just voice over those. So the first one is we were discussing the timing and cadence of this meeting. So I thought it'd be good to kind of get feedback on how this time works, how the day works, just the general cadence. And I'll point to this later, but I was working on kind of just a survey to share within this group. So I added that question there as well. But I thought I'd get thoughts from those on the call.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea to me. I think we sometimes or very often see family and friends day or public holidays on Monday. So
Right.
Makes sense to move the meeting. So Friday is probably the same problem. But any other day would work for me too.
I would add Andy's Friday should be also not meeting day, right?
Correct. Yeah, we should avoid meetings on Fridays.
On Fridays.
Right.
Yeah, maybe on Mondays too.
Yeah, I think mostly for this sync meeting, the Mondays seem to be a challenge. I think it may be different if we're not trying to organize like we are, but so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday seems to be I said recommended twice, seems to be the choice. All right, any other thoughts or feedback on this? What about the bi-weekly cadence? Is that working well? Is it enough, or is it too much?
I personally think it's enough because I think, folks have a lot of other meetings to attend as well. So more frequent might be a little bit too much maybe. So I'm fine with the current cadence, but obviously open to other suggestions.
Yeah, same here. I think every week would be too much, and but 2 weeks seems to work well. We almost always have points on the agenda, and we almost always use all of the time. I think that's a good indicator for a good schedule. If we are too often overtime, this probably means we should maybe meet more often or do more things async, but I think we have a very good balance at the moment.
Good, great to hear. Cool.
Yeah,
And if everyone,
sorry.
oh, sorry, go ahead, Boyan.
Sorry, I could agree with Andy. Like, I think also it's based on our backlog. So if we have things in backlog, like maybe we can like squash it in together, and if it's needed, maybe have it more often. But I think we're doing pretty good with this, like bi-weekly things.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm paraphrasing some of these notes, so feel free to fix them. Cool. And if you would like to also share, feedback on that survey on this point, we can get feedback more broadly. Welcome to the call, Shmariti. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, that's
Hey,
Smriti. Thank you.
Smriti. Thanks for joining. We were just talking about the cadence of our calls. I know you're maybe new to joining, so but yeah, you can feel free to share your feedback as far as like what you think would be good on bi-weekly cadence Mondays as a regular sync timing, and we're considering actually moving it to Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Okay, it works for me. I don't have a problem. Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays are also okay. So yeah, this is the first time attending this call. So I think I will just I'm not very much familiar with how the discussion in this call goes on. So
Sure.
yeah, I'll be okay. I'm okay with the Tuesday, Thursdays, and other days also. The same time works for any day in the week.
Okay. That's a good point about the timing too. Maybe yeah, we'll have to look at that. All right. Well, thanks for your feedback. I'll move on to point number 2. Also, Smriti, do you have the doc as well? Have access to the doc? Oh, you're in there. Okay. Just want to make sure you're aware of that. Okay. Number 2, note for DRIs. Can you please update the progress for each of the exit criteria? So, this MR is open and we've added exit criteria to our working group page, and we're hoping that we can all identify the DRIs and then start to share some type of progress, which may be maybe a challenge in some cases, but we want to start somewhere, just get a sense of where we are. So any questions, comments on that one, or we can move on to the next. Okay, number 3, Arturo was throwing out a recommendation as well. He's suggesting that for async updates on each of the things that we're covering from a DRI perspective, that we could use this doc to share more progress, async progress updates. And you'd like to do that for the next 2 weeks. So how does everyone feel about trying that out? I think too, at least, Boyan, do you have any items as DRI? I think Katie
Actually,
maybe.
no.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think Andy either.
No, but what does this mean? Does it mean we have like a every 2 weeks we have something on our doc to where everyone gives an update on the status?
Yeah, that's my understanding here, is just that we have a status check and that we're doing that kind of preemptively so that we can kind of keep track of each of these items over time. So, I guess on some of these calls, we don't always touch on every item. So if we can, add that to the doc ahead of time, we can at least async kind of keep up with where things are. And, if anything's blocking or moving slowly, we can consider how we might, pitch in on those items.
Yeah,
And
I think
it's supposed to be. Sorry.
Even though I don't have a I'm not the DRI for an item, but I think this sounds like it makes sense, and we could just try it. Like we can just have like a template for each meeting agenda, and then it could be like have a note that this is async, and then everyone can do a little status update there. And if it doesn't work, we can remove it again.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think it's absolutely worth a try.
Yep, sounds
I had
good
a-
to me too, because I think not all DRIs can ever make this meeting anyway because of time zone differences. So it might also be an effective tool for other folks who can't make this regular sync.
Agreed. Cool. Okay. Any other topics or points, comments on that, on number 3?
I wanted to add, like, this was only the owner should give an update, correct? Of the RI or
Yeah, I think this would be a responsibility for the DRIs as identified in the exit criteria.
So-
But I think I want to say that there's still a few items that don't have DRIs, so there may be something to explore there.
there was one, if I remember well, that's supposed to be owned by engineer. But regarding this point, I think maybe the owner should give some feedback rather in this point, me and Andy who
Right.
don't have any. So also like having their feedback would be better.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Yeah. So I'll have dotted line. Let's hear from our DRIs. And I know I am one, so yeah, I'm happy doing that. Okay, I'll move to point 4. Arturo is asking, how can we engage the rest of the members of the working group? So for each epic exit criteria, we identify the next issue. Maybe we can try to assign or delegate some of these. So yeah, we have DRIs, we have epics associated with each of the topics, and we have issues within those. So obviously the DRI is meant to help, share the progress updates, help move things forward, but they may not be hands-on doing the work on every item. So we might have issues that we need to delegate. So yeah, so I agree with this. I think trying to think about how we can engage more of those who signed up or others that are interested in being a part of the group and picking up issues and participating, I think would be great. Any thoughts on this?
I would like to add maybe, since we have owners, but also other members are going to participate here. So maybe they could be like some asynchronous communication between them, so they can like give updates to the owners, or just like to be like having track in between, and so owners can use this page to give like this bi-weekly update. Does that sounds reasonable?
And I think maybe I'll try to clarify that. So we'll have a DRI, like say I'm the DRI. Sorry, I just need to. But let's say I'm the DRI and I'm working with Andy on an issue. You're talking about the discussion between myself and Andy in that case. Can you clarify, like, you would like to see some of that conversation being surfaced asynchronously?
No, like it's more like if an owner is like not knowing what's happening inside their like objective things. So if there's someone else from the member of the group is working on something, they can like delegate the update to the owner of the.
Oh, right. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't want to go too deep with DRIs, but something like that. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah. But I would hope though that the DRI of the topic is staying apprised on what's going on with those issues. But I agree, there's going to be cases where we want others to kind of communicate those issues.
You just like to avoid like pinging them to get an update, just like being asynchronous. Instead of like having this like transparency, you don't need to
Yeah.
ask someone, just improve communication.
Yep. I agree with that. Okay, any other thoughts on point number 4? Okay, and absolutely anyone chiming in async on the recording, feel free to jump in the doc and share your thoughts on all of the above. Okay, now moving on to number 5. So I mentioned earlier, I put together a quick just Google survey. So it's very sparse, just wanted to kind of get a pulse on where we are with the working group, how everyone is feeling about the progress and what we're working on. So yeah, feel free to jump in there, and I'll drop this as well in the Slack channel as I share the meeting notes from today. And the last point I had here is number 6. I've been working on this for a little while. This has been, I guess, one of my DRI items. The internal API user survey. This is like the next iteration of the gap analysis. We started with kind of a more manual process, trying to understand, identify what APIs exist in each of the areas, like within our stages and groups, and are they, GraphQL, REST? How do we, like, what would it look like to get parity? Do we have feature? Are we covering all of our features in terms of API endpoints? So this is going to kind of take this a little bit more broader. It was such a manual process that we're hoping that the survey could get us some pretty good input from the teams across GitLab about how we're approaching our APIs. And yeah, I've been working on this, getting some feedback in the issue. Have taken it into now a formal Qualtrics survey format, and I'm working on getting this shared hopefully this week. So I've been asking for feedback, but it's still possible to share feedback now. So if you want to take a look, go through the survey, give it a try. There's some things functionally within the survey I think I'll still need to tweak. So yeah, just let me know if you're running into issues. But yeah, happy to hear your thoughts on that. Which we can do, do that async. It'll take time, I think, for everyone to pop it open and walk through it. So just more of a almost a read-only update in a way here, just voiceover update. Cool. All right, that covers all my points. Anything else from the team here?
A question, Grant. Sorry,
Mhm.
I'm
Go
late
ahead.
again. I don't have access to this link. Is this like preview locked temporarily, or I need an account to see it?
So if you click through, it's not working for you.
I need to sign in, and I don't have credentials.
Okay, let me see. Maybe I can adjust how.
Is it only for me, or?
I think you're right. I think I just needed to change a setting. Let me try this link instead. Does that work for you?
Same, actually.
Same. Hitting
Yeah,
share.
also getting a
Public.
login page.
Okay. Let me see. Maybe I didn't copy over. No, that's, I'm trying in an incognito window and it's doing the same. Public. I don't know. I usually don't have problems with these. Okay, let me circle back and I'll share this in the Slack channel as well. I don't know I think it's Qualtrics, because I definitely just changed it to public and it doesn't want to work for me. So I'll circle back on that. Thanks for raising that. Cool. And since you're new to the call, Sriti, I thought I'd just check in and see, what you're hoping to get out of the call. If there's anything we can answer for you or point you to, interested in your thoughts on what we're working on.
Yeah, hi. Actually, I joined GitLab some 3 months back, and since then I had been mainly working on the tasks which are related to the API. Like I have fixed few of the APIs. I developed new APIs for my for the authorization group, and what I observed while doing all this, while developing APIs and working on API kind of requirements, I felt there is some lack in the way we document API currently, and the way we take the requirements from the users. When it comes to API, we should be having a at least some sort of well documented what do you call requirement, where we know that what would be the exact URL, what will be the parameters, what will be the types, like the way we could generate it using Swagger. And so like generally in the way we specify using open API specs, if we could just get that in place, then there was some last minute confusions on one of my implementations where how I implemented that API requirement. The data type that I used to accept the parameter from the user, it was not correct, or it was not it was not as expected by the user or by the end user. It was correct, it was working and everything, but it was not as per what was expected. So it was a very last minute change. No one noticed it, but it was a very last minute change and we had to fix it. So I thought that if this could have been documented, that this is what this is how the API specs will look like, then that last minute issue would not have happened. So that's the reason I thought that probably we can maintain it using Swagger or some other open API spec tool. And so I just raised this point in one of the retrospectives in my team. So Hannah put me in touch with this group. So that's how I just thought I will just get into the meeting and see what's going on.
Awesome.
So
yeah, that's great. I know we're working on a couple of issues. I'm sure Andy could speak to those.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, I just looked into how we can generate an open API documentation, and I can share an issue. I'll put it in the agenda. Yeah, so this is basically the issue about auto-generating this document, and yeah, we just started working on this.
Okay.
And yeah, the idea is I think we want to build something in this milestone to generate to at least have a generator to build an open API documentation. I'm not sure how far we get with annotating all the endpoints. Like, yeah, probably have to yeah, add some examples and stuff like this. There's a lot to do. But yeah, feel free to check the issue, and if you want to help, there's probably something something you can add to it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see the issue. Thank you. I'll just go through it and see what are we doing on it already. I will see if I can contribute. Thanks for pointing me to this. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm kind of curious too, Sriti, what was the exact data type that the user was confused on? If you can recall, no pressure. But
no. I was I can very well. Just a second. What's that? Okay, so this access level, there was okay, so this access level, there was one. I will just send you the MR also if you want. So there was this attribute named access level, which we were accepting as the string, but the same API I mean, the same attribute in other APIs was being accepted as integer. So that's the one. So we have access levels in our in GitLab, right? Maintainer, reporter, and developer,
Yeah.
like that. So I was accepting in my API it as string, but in other API implementations, we are accepting it as integer. So it had to be it had to be in sync with other implementations. So I had to make this change last one.
Understand. Yeah, that's a really good example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, the term here too, beyond open API documentation, is standards. So like having some kind of standards set across how we implement our APIs. So yeah, that's good feedback that we're seeing internally, and I know that there are a lot of cases of this. So yeah, I'm hoping that this is a really good starting point that Andy's working on with automating the documentation. Cool. Any other thoughts on this topic?
Not as of now. This is one problem that I noticed immediately. But yeah, I'm also very curious to go through all the go through the vision in detail and just look at the issues which are related to it. Not as of this was what my immediate feedback was.
Yeah, that's great. Happy to have more feedback, and if you're interested in getting more involved, we can make sure you're formally added to the page as a member and look for issues to involve you on, or informally, that works as well. So happy to have your engagement involvement here.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I don't see any other points, so I'll just leave it open for another minute here if there's anything to share. I don't know, anything from your end, Katie?
No, just that automated docs sounds really, really exciting. I can't
It
wait.
Yeah, and I think that's I'll try to coordinate with Arturo as he's back in the office and work on the async structure. Like, how can we get some progress updates? Because there are some things I'd be interested in hearing if we had the right people on the call. But I know we're working on the REST over GraphQL wrapper. So I'm not sure where that is. I was kind of curious and want to check in on the status of that myself. But yeah, I know we're talking, Andy, about through some of the questions you had on how to scope this for this milestone. So we'll want to jump in on the open API documentation or docs generation. I know we have some other related technical docs tasks out there. I think that Katie, you've been working on. So maybe we can just work on getting the table structure. I know we're about at time already for today, and then work on doing this async between now and the next call. I think that would be pretty valuable. All right, well, I really appreciate everyone for jumping on. Hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Ciao.